Okay, can I just verify that everyone can see my VS Code? Thanks. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same file that we were working on, and now I'm gonna paste the link into our chat on how to do this. So I believe it's called column edit. Sometimes, so if you're trying to Google it, I think it's either column edit or vertical edit. And I'm gonna open up that page. All right. Okay, so I'm also going to turn off the VI stuff so we know that Vim isn't getting in the way. So disable it. Okay, so there's no more Vim here. And so what it says is Shift Alt and then drag. So if I want to edit these 3 lines, I'm going to press Shift and Alt, Shift Alt, and then highlight the 3 lines. Oh, I missed it. This cursor's too big. Oh. I see. So you actually click the line you start with, hold down Shift Alt, and then click the one that you want to end with, and then just start editing. And then I think you can just click off. So you can do it in VS Code without Vim, and that's how you do it. Questions, comments, concerns about that? All right. All right, so the next topic is 3 things I've seen in the homework assignments I want to go over. So the first one is using external style sheets and JavaScript. So using external style sheet is preferred, and even in JavaScript, it's the same idea. So instead of putting all your code inside the HTML, because this bit of code is just 1 line now, but as it gets more complex, it can grow. And the rule of thumb is always 100 lines per file. Try to keep it under 100. Every function or method should be less than 10 lines. Those are rule of thumbs. And this bit of code, as your app gets more complex, can grow significantly. And couple that with your page, which can also grow significantly, you can kind of surpass that 100 lines per page, per file pretty quickly. So abstracting that code away into an external file is really a good practice for the type of apps we're building. The more modern apps, they do kind of put them together, but they put smaller chunks together. So yeah, so instead of all of this code and however large this bit of code is, depending on your app, is replaced with one line that calls out to your script. So then it keeps your main HTML file significantly smaller. And the same goal is true for CSS. Instead of putting all your styles, so this one's the opposite way. Instead of putting all your styles mixed in with HTML, and this is even more complicated because it allows you to, it keeps you from reusing the style. This is a little bit more, facilitates reusing style a little bit more, but then it kind of, again, same issue. It is shoving a lot of code inside HTML, kind of mixing HTML and CSS. So we want to abstract that away and just have this one line, and then we can put as much code we want into this other file. So that's best practice. Hopefully that makes sense. Any questions, comments, concerns about that before we move on to the next thing I noticed on the assignments? Okay. So the next thing is versioning. As much as possible, always use the latest version. So the version is specified here because 1 is usually more secure. They fix insecurity, security patches, and at some point they're gonna deprecate or not support the older versions. So you always want to be upgrading and using the latest. And then the other thing is, if you just happen to be reading documentation related to a different version and your app is on another version, it could just waste a ton of time when you're trying to troubleshoot. So as much as possible, use the latest versions in Bootstrap and jQuery. Let's see, is it here? Yeah. So the version is also, should be specified. So that 3.6 is the version. So make sure you're using the latest. jQuery and Bootstrap, very similar. And as you do more development, these versions actually is quite a bit to manage. There's actually tools exist specifically to manage versions for different languages, for different applications. So it's a big deal. Please use the latest. Let's see. One other thing that I forgot to mention last time about CDNs. I mentioned that if different apps, different web pages use the same file, specify the same file, the browser knows to use the one that's already downloaded in the cache, right? So it doesn't have to download again. The other thing that CDNs help optimize, content delivery networks, is they have servers all around the world. So if your user is in United States, they'll use the server to kind of ship out jQuery to that user's browser that's closest to them. So again, shortening the latency, again, optimizing on performance. So that's another great benefit of using CDNs, is that they will choose the server that's closest to your user to allow them to download, if they need to download the file, to be able to download faster because they're the shorter distance to traverse. Okay, I might have forgot to mention that last time. Any questions, comments, concerns about the versioning? All right. And then lastly, I noticed a lot of students were doing something like this, where they have two document ready functions. So this is redundant because you're telling the browser to wait till the document is ready and then do something, and then saying wait till the document is ready and do something else. And then certain things, I'm not sure about this in particular, but JavaScript tries to be non-blocking, so you actually don't know which order this might actually get executed in. Something that's safer would be to just tell the browser when the document or web page is ready, do these things, and you can actually have more control over which order things are executed in, and also it reads a little easier. Someone reading your code can get confused, like, oh, which one is actually being done first, or which one is are they related, or right? Whereas this one is just easier to kind of read and understand and know that, hey, once the document's ready, these are the things we're going to do. Because these two things could be in different sections of the file, right? Whereas this kind of like forces it to be in the same section, and the reader can quickly understand what's happening and what's the intention, and just kind of grok it a little bit easier and faster. So those were the three main patterns that I kept on seeing, and hopefully that makes sense. Any questions, comments, concerns about that point? Okay. All right, so that's all I have. I'm gonna stop the video.